Come ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction. Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
It is run by Kate. Come and be her guest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
And that's Uncle Joe. He's a moving kind of slow at the junction. Peoticoat Junction.
Well, all the Cannonball asks for is a little wood. What time is it?
Somewhere around 1 or 1:30. Not so sure since I had that 35-cent cleaning job at the Hooterville watch shop.
Well, it don't matter. Nothing pressing till the afternoon school run. Why don't we pull on down to Morgan Creek and get in a little fishing, huh?
I like to, Charlie, but I can't.
Why?
Well, I've been invited for tea by the widow, Sarah Lawrence.
At 1 o'clock? Ain't that a little early for tea?
I guess she just can't wait till 4 o'clock to see me.
Well, if you've gone so high society that you'd rather drink tea than go fishing, I reckon that's up to you.
I can't help it if I'm in demand.
Lately, you sure been a hot item with the widows.
I do seem to be entering a romantic period in my life.
It's a good thing a body don't have to depend on you for permanent company. I got Joe and Kate and the girls. You can just fritter away your time any way you please.
We're getting pretty close to Sarah Lawrence's place. Would you mind dropping me off?
I wouldn't mind a bit. Don't spill any tea in your lap.
What are you going to be doing?
Don't worry about me. I'm going up to the Shady Rest where a fella can find some real company. I'll pick you up on the school run.
I invest in a few dollars in the building of beautiful Shady Rest Park.
Joe, just the man I'm wanting to see.
Well, if it's a loan you want, you're out of luck. I'm flat broke.
It ain't that at all. I just came by Morgan Creek, and them trout is just a-begging to get caught. How's about you and me accommodating a few of them?
Not today. I have to finish my speech for the Hooterville Chamber of Commerce.
You're making a speech? What about?
My speech is called Ways to Financial Success and Security Through Sound Investments.
Can't you finish it tomorrow?
Tomorrow's the day I have to give the speech. Sometimes I think Hooterville asks too much of me.
Oh, hi, Charlie. Nice to see you.
Well, I'm glad somebody's glad to see me. I was beginning to think I was a one-man measles epidemic.
What?
Oh, nothing. Kate, I heard some real interesting gossip this morning. Would you like to sit down and hear it?
Oh, Charlie, I don't have time for sit-down gossiping. This is my big cleaning day.
Kate, you are the busiest, hardest working woman lately. We used to have time to sit down now and then and talk.
Well, you see, Charlie, nowadays, with the girls growing up and the hotel running down, I'm busier and busier.
Yeah, I understand, Kate. Hi, Billy Joe.
Hi, Charlie.
You got a minute?
I got all the time in the world.
Great. Let's have a game of checkers, huh?
Well, I haven't got that much time.
Oh.
Charlie, I'd love to play checkers with you, but
You got to go get ready for a date with your boyfriend.
That's not true. I've got a dancing lesson to go to.
And then you got a date with a boy.
How'd you guess? Oh, Charlie, if you really want me to, I'll play checkers with you.
Oh, no. Now, you just go and dance up a storm. I got to go anyway.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. Time for the school run, and I got to go pick up my sidekick, otherwise known as your sister Betty.
There's nothing I enjoy more than talking to you and running the Cannonball.
Oh, it's nice when people have something in common.
I feel the same way, Charlie. Why, you and the Cannonball are just about the two best friends I've got.
I'm sure glad you feel that way. Say, would you like to blow the whistle?
Why? We're way past Dead Man's Curve. There's no reason to blow it here.
Go on, blow it anyway. Betty Joe, I got a great idea.
What is it, Charlie?
What do you say we give the old Cannonball a real going over today?
Well, gee, Charlie,
She's in a pitiful state of disrepair.
Isn't she always?
Well, sure, but right now she's at her disrepairiest. I think she's got some mud in her belly again.
Oh, poor old Cannonball.
I'll tell you what. When we get up to the Shady Rest, you get into some jeans, and we'll wash her out together.
I'd love to, but
We'll clean the grate and the ash pan at the same time. We ain't done that together in quite a spell.
I know, but you see,
Slow her down, Betty Joe. We're coming into the Shady Rest for a whole afternoon of real interesting work. Slow her down, Betty Joe.
I can't.
Sure you can. Just adjust the pickle fork hinge and pull back on the brake lever, same as always.
No, I mean, I can't. Oh, I'll explain when we stop, Charlie.
Come on, Betty Joe. Let's you and me get to working on this little old Cannonball. Let's hop to it.
Charlie, I've been
Hey, look who's here. Hooterville's Hot Rod Romeo.
Hi, Betty Joe.
Orville, it's you.
Of course it's me. Who else would it be?
Charlie, that's what I've been trying to tell you. I'm spending the afternoon with Orville.
Yeah, we have the whole week planned, haven't we, Betty Joe? Well, come on, let's go.
But Charlie, I'd love to help you, but I can't. You understand. See you tomorrow, Charlie.
That done it.
Oh, careful, Charlie. That hat cost 89 cents.
I won't be needing the darn thing anymore. I'm through running the Cannonball.
Oh, come on, Charlie. Stop kidding around.
I finally come to my senses. There's nobody around here got any time for me, and I'm not spending the rest of my days sitting up there in that engine being lonely and miserable.
Charlie, you gotta be kidding. You just gotta.
You find out if I'm kidding. I'm quitting the Cannonball forever, and you can just get yourself a new engineer.
Charlie, I wouldn't try to talk you out of anything except what'd make you unhappy. I just know you wouldn't like it out there in the big city by yourself.
Oh, the heck I wouldn't, with all them big fancy movie theaters and all them big league baseball games.
Charlie, you've been hurt and you're trying to hit back. But the only one that's going to get hit is yourself.
What do you mean?
Well, this is your life. You need your old friends, and they need you.
My old friends has been a-needing me like the walking pneumonia. They all think I'm old and useless. That's what they all think.
Everybody does not think that.
Well, maybe not everybody, but most everybody.
Now, Charlie, you got to come to your senses.
It's no use, Kate. My mind is made up. I've arranged for my replacement, and as soon as I get him broke in, I'm off to Broadway.
Broadway? Well, that's in New York.
Well, if that's where it is, that's where I'm a-going. I'll send you a postcard.
Did just what I thought you would. Blew it. It takes a man to talk to another man about a man's problems.
What do you mean?
I mean, it's time I stepped in with my reasoning and straightened Charlie out.
Oh, Uncle Joe, please, when it comes to who should handle a delicate situation, experience has taught me which one of us it ought to be.
Right. And you stay out of it and leave it to me. Charlie, how long has me and you been friends?
Well, not counting the times we weren't talking after you'd cheated me in checkers, I'd say 40-odd years.
Exactly. And you know I'm honest as the day's long.
Sure, but let's not make this day long, okay?
Charlie, now a man's got to be practical. Some of us, like me's got a lot of talent. We can do anything. We got the spirit of youth.
Well, Sonny, is that a fact?
Sure. Others like you, old buddy, get to aging up before your time.
Just call me prune face.
So take a tip from an old friend. When you got an easy touch like running the Cannonball, hang on to it. Without it, you're dead.
Are you just about done talking?
Just about.
Well, then you listen to me. I'm still young, strong, and useful, and I can get along any place in the world. France, China, Cincinnati, any place.
Oh, Mom. Orville and I just had the most wonderful walk in the moonlight.
Oh, was the moon out tonight?
Of course it was, silly. It was big and round and bright.
Oh, I guess that's why we weren't stumbling.
Orville, how would you like to go in and sit on the sofa and talk?
Oh, I've got a better idea.
Oh, what, Orville? What?
Why don't we stay in here and have a piece of that pie?
Orville, if all you're interested in is pie, you don't need me. Good night.
Wonder what's the matter with her?
If you don't know, there's no way of telling you.
Well, I guess I better be going.
I guess so, Orv.
Here, Orville. Take this with you. Eating pie in the moonlight is dynamite.
Oh, thanks a lot. Well, good night, Mr. Carson, Mr. Bradley.
Good night, Orville.
You know, that boy worries me.
What?
He's so romantic, I'm afraid he's gonna sweep Betty off her feet and drag her to the altar.
I'd rather have Orville a little too slow than a little too fast. Think of our problem if he was serious about marrying Betty Jo.
We need to think about it.
Me too. Supposing that was our problem. Maybe that'd be a way of keeping Charlie here.
What are you talking about?
Well, since your talk with him didn't work out so well, I was
Now,
thinking...
don't be like that, Kate. Every man's entitled to one mistake in judgment in a lifetime.
Oh, certainly, Uncle Joe.
Charlie made his when he didn't listen to me.
Yeah, boy. But maybe we can bring Charlie round by tempting him with a new job.
What are you talking about? Charlie can't do nothing but run a train.
Oh, yes, he can. Besides running the Cannonball, he likes to give advice best. I am about to have a little talk with Mr. Charles Pratt, marriage counselor.
Gosh, Kate, I never realized that things was so serious between Betty Jo and Orville.
Charlie, I tell you, that boy's so all fired up, you don't know what he's apt to do next.
That's right. Any day now, he's liable to drag my poor baby sister off to the justice of the peace.
Gosh, Kate, I wish I could help you.
Oh, you can help, Charlie. That's why I'm appealing to you. You know, you've been just like a father to Betty Jo.
Well, you want me to talk to Betty Jo?
Oh, no, she's too far gone. Our only hope is for you to convince Orville that he should think twice before rushing into this mad marriage.
Well, Kate, I sure would love to help you, but I'm due to leave town soon. As a matter of fact, I'm picking up my replacement tomorrow.
Well, Charlie, if you could talk to the boy before you left, I'd be real indebted to you.
Okay. As a parting gesture to you, Kate, I'll do it. I haven't got much time, but I'll talk some sense into that boy's head.
Oh, thank you, Charlie. Oh, my, it's nice to have someone to depend on in a time of need.
Thanks, Charlie. Thanks so much.
Oh, don't mention it. Goodbye, y'all.
Bye, Charlie.
Bye. I didn't think he'd swallow it. Orville's no more thinking of marrying Betty Jo than I'm thinking of marrying Floyd.
You know it and I know it, but Charlie doesn't know it. And making up a little human problem for him to solve might be just the way of keeping him here.
Orville, you ought to realize that getting married is a big step.
I realize that.
Yes, sir. The biggest step you'll ever take.
Well, it's a big step, all right.
It's a step that before you take that step, you ought to watch your step. See what I mean?
I guess.
Now, it's not that Betty Jo isn't a fine girl.
Well, she's tops.
She's tops, all right. But Orville, she's a little young.
Yeah, but she's bound to get older.
She's gonna get older, and you're gonna get older. And both of you are gonna get a little older, and that's the time to do it.
Do what?
What do you think we've been talking about? Time to get married.
Still over Mr. Pratt. I'm not thinking of getting married.
Not? You never was you?
Never entered my head.
I get it. You're Kate's brainchild.
No, I'm a Meigs boy. I belong to my mother.
Horrible. Kate figured that if I gave you some advice, it'd make me feel important and useful, and I wouldn't want to leave.
She did?
But it won't work. I'm old and useless, and I know it. We're coming into Hooterville, and I'll pick up my replacement here.
Mr. Pratt?
Tuttle?
Yes, sir. Well, when do you want to start breaking me in to replace you, sir?
Sooner the better. Get aboard, son.
Oh, thank you.
Doing real good, Mr. Tuttle.
That's right. You're soloing like a veteran engineer.
Thanks. I wish you could see me running a top-rate engine. How old did you say this wagon is?
Oh, 75 years.
It's amazing.
What is?
It's amazing that it still holds together.
She's old and rusty, but she's got tradition.
Better blow the whistle, Mr. Tuttle.
Why? There's no crossing.
Charlie always blows it along here to remind Fred Ziffel it's time to feed his pigs.
Now, look, I'm running the Cannonball now, and it's going to be run like a train, not an alarm clock.
Start slowing down.
There's no stop here.
There is today. Maud Whipple is visiting her sister in Quint City, and Charlie told her that we was going to stop and milk her cow.
We're 33 minutes behind schedule, and you expect me to stop to milk a cow? Well, you better forget it, because we've got to pick up time.
What for? You don't want Maud Whipple to come home and find her cow all swelled up, do you?
Do you, Mr. Tuttle?
Look, I don't know from cows.
Nor people either, I'm thinking.
There he is, Orville. You can thank him for yourself.
Oh, Mr. Pratt.
Hi, Orville. What's up?
Well, I just want to thank you for what you've done for me. You really helped straighten me out.
Kate, you didn't have me fooled very long about Orville and Betty Jo getting married.
Oh, of course not, Charlie, but that's not what he wants to talk to you about. Tell him, Orville.
Well, sir, just hanging around you for a while has got me to thinking. Eventually, I'd like to become an engineer just like you.
Kate, it won't work. I'm quitting, and that's that.
Are you saying that I put him up to that?
Oh, Kate, why don't you just mark it down as a nice try?
Now, listen here, Charles P. Pratt. And I think I know what the P stands for. Pig-headed.
It does not. It stands for Palmquist. That's an old family name.
I don't care what it stands for, but I'm not going to stand for you belittling a boy who tried to pay you a sincere, honest compliment right from his heart.
Now, just a darn second, Kate.
Just a darn second yourself. You are walking out on people who love you and need you and depend on you.
Well, if that's the case, I ain't had no evidence of it.
Of course not. Folks around here don't go around telling each other they like each other or need each other. They just do, and that's that.
Watch it, Kate. You get him riled up, he won't even send us a postcard from where he's going.
I am just trying to stop Mr. Pratt from stomping on people's feelings before he leaves, especially this honest, sincere boy, and you stay out of this.
Yeah, stay out of this.
Go ahead, do what you like to us, but don't make us sorry we ever loved you.
Mom, the whole valley's up in arms. It's terrible.
What's the matter?
Everything. Well, Fred Ziffel's pigs are starving. Maud Whipple's cow's been mooing its head off for a friendly pair of hands. Burst and Treadwell's chickens have been doing a lot of cackling and no laying because the Cannonball keeps going by his farm so fast. Everyone in this valley's so confused they don't know what to do because the Cannonball's been keeping to schedule. And it's all your fault, Charlie.
I'm warning you, everybody. Not even a postcard. You watch.
Howdy, everybody. Howdy, Quitter. Oh, I mean Charlie.
What's going on? What's all the noise?
Nothing, Billy Joe. We're just giving Charlie a nice, friendly send-off.
And don't let it get to you, Charlie, old boy. Just leave quietly and pretend this never happened.
For goodness sakes, be quiet, Joe. I haven't got so much attention since 40 years ago when I fell in Emmy Hatton's punch bowl.
Tuttle fellow likes to see you on the front porch, Quitter. Charlie. Sorry, Charlie.
Oh, it's okay, Floyd.
I may not be as smart as some of these other furious people around here, but that ain't saying that I ain't furious, too.
Well, thanks, Floyd. Best I go talk to Tuttle.
Sure, Charlie, why don't you do that? He doesn't know you like we do. He might fall all over you.
Anything wrong, Mr. Tuttle?
Oh, no. I always walk around carrying a brake handle. It's kind of a fun thing to do.
Well, you shouldn't have taken the brake off. It's real troublesome to get it back on.
It came off in my hand while I was trying to stop that train. A brake handle being kept in place by a pickle fork? Why, that's ridiculous.
Sure is. They don't make pickle forks like they used to.
Do you know what I'm going to do, old-timer?
Quit. That what you gonna do? You are gonna quit, ain't you?
No, not on your life. I'm going to stay right here, and I'm going to whip this railroad into shape.
You are? I mean, you are? Bless you. Bless you. I knew that if I kept trying out replacements, I'd find at least one brave man left in railroading.
Brave? What do you mean, Mr. Pratt?
Outsiders don't understand men like you and me. To us, the spirit of railroading is everything in life, right?
Well, I wouldn't quite say that.
Some folks thinks it's a hardship on engineers to get up at all hours, be a farmhand, a midwife, a one-man fire department, heaven knows what else. We love it, don't we, Tuttle?
You mean they expect engineers to do all of those things? Well, that's ridiculous. Why don't you just tell them to get lost?
I ain't never said get lost to the wrong end of a shotgun, Tuttle, have you?
Now you're kidding me, Mr. Pratt. People here have forced you to do work at shotgun point?
Oh, they just load it with rock salt. Oh. A blast in the britches with that'll smart a little, but it sure does wake you up effective.
Shotguns? Rock salt? And you think I'm going to want to stay here?
Well, you've got to, Tuttle. Your railroading's only hope in these parts.
Oh, no.
Mine, too. Doctor gave me the news last week. I'm aging too fast. I'm heading for that big roundhouse in the sky.
Oh, I had no idea, Mr. Pratt. I'm terribly sorry.
Me, too. Come next month, I would have celebrated my 34th birthday.
You're only 34 years old?
Not quite. But don't pay me no never mind. Keep up the traditions of railroading. Carry on.
I'm sorry, but you better tell them to get somebody else because I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Hey, come back, please, come back.
Forget it!
Okay, I'll do just that. How do you like that? That Tuttle fella just up and flat quit.
He did?
For no rhyme or reason.
Say, Charlie, if you were to stay on, it sure would please the folks in this valley.
You reckon?
If you'll stay, Charlie, I'll give you any name in my widow book.
Even Sarah Lawrence?
No, anyone but Sarah Lawrence.
I might even pretend to let you win at checkers.
What do you say, Charlie?
There's only one thing I can say. There's a train that runs through this wide valley that is loved by one and all. It's the train that starts way up in Pixley called the Hooterville Cannonball. Well, she takes her run through the dead of winter, through the summer, spring, and fall. Neither cold nor heat nor flood can stop her. She's the Hooterville Cannonball.
Junction.
This has been a Filmways presentation.
Come ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction. Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
It is run by Kate. Come and be her guest at the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
And that's Uncle Joe. He's a moving kind of slow at the junction. Petticoat Junction.
Joe, you shouldn't be running on a hot day like this.
Got a telegram for your mother.
Hey, telegram for you.
A telegram? What's that, Mama, telegram? What's it about?
How should I know? It's marked personal for your mother.
Who would send me a telegram?
Norman P. Curtis. He's a riot. He still claims he's president of the CNFW Railroad.
Well, what's the message?
Well, how would I know? Daddy Norman says Bedlow's coming back out here again.
That sneaky Mr. Bedlow. He's always trying to scrap the Cannonball.
This time he's got a henchman with him named Fred.
Don't start worrying, Mom. Yeah, you've outsmarted Mr. Bedlow before.
I wonder what skullduggery he's dreamed up this time with this Fred.
Mr. Curtis, I've just come back from the cattle car convention. Heard you're sending me to Hooterville.
Now you're on the right track, Bedlow.
And so are you, sir. Oh, I knew eventually you'd see things my way. You know, when you've got a liability, you've got to get rid of it for the good of the railroad. Oh, I'll junk that Hooterville Cannonball so fast, those people down there will think they have a breakaway toy.
Well, now you're on the wrong track.
They thought they were going to outsmart your vice president. Well, now that I've got your support, I can get rid of that antediluvian eyesore, that Tunaville folly. Those people down there are going to drop to their bended knees. Now, who's got the last laugh?
You're not laughing, Mr. Curtis.
Bedlow, you are a mean man.
Thank you, sir. I try.
Every organization must have a mean man, and ours is the best mean man in the business.
Thank you, sir.
But you lay one clammy finger on that cannonball, and I'll have you tied to the tracks.
But, Mr. Curtis!
I'm sending you to Hooterville this time on a mission of mercy.
Mercy? Me? You feel all right, Chief?
I feel fine. It's Fred who doesn't feel well.
Fred? Who's Fred?
I have already wired Mrs. Bradley. Kate, a wonderful woman. To reserve adjoining rooms for the both of you.
Adjoining rooms?
Fred belongs to my housekeeper. Now, they're both getting old, but I love them dearly. Now, cooped up in my penthouse, he's lost his snap. So I'm sending him to the Shady Rest with you.
I'm to go to the Shady Rest with a dog?
Oh, Fred is more than a dog. He's a beloved companion to my housekeeper and me.
Well, he doesn't look like any more than a dog to me.
But confined to city living, he's lost his dogginess. Haven't you, old pal? In the world of apartments and city living, it's wrong to bark, to be a dog. Fred, old pal, I haven't heard you bark in months. But 1 week with those wonderful people, and Fred will come back a changed man, revitalized by their robust way of life.
So that's what my efforts to close down that railroad have led to, lowering my status so I'm a keeper of the dog. Is that it?
Not really, Bedlow. I was hoping to kill two birds with one stone. I want the love and the kindness of those people to rub off on you, too. I sincerely hope by the time you get back, you will have broadened your perspective. You know, there's really more to life, Bedlow, than banging your head against a cannonball. Now, how can you disagree with that?
I can't, because you're the president, sir. And I'm merely your vice president in charge of a dog.
For months you've been hounding me to get back to that valley. Now that I've given you the opportunity, what do you say?
Thank you.
I'll muscle your bag on up to the hotel, Mr. Bedloe.
Good grief! Look! What's that?
That's Arvel's flivver ball.
Running on the CNFW tracks?
He's Betty Jo's boyfriend. He put handcar wheels on his flivver so he could drive out here to visit her.
He uses our tracks?
Ain't any others.
Hiya, Mr. Pratt.
Greetings.
What are they doing?
What we always do when Arvel signals he's about out of gas, we tow him into Pixley.
Fred, I'd report this to the president of the railroad, but he wouldn't believe me. And you wouldn't back me up. Come on.
Hey, easy, Sheba. Don't fall for those city slickers. You'll only get hurt.
Now, you stop that. This is a miserable trip, so you stay miserable. Now, stop that dilly-dallying. We have to face the enemy. I have the beginning of a plan. I'll appeal to their sympathy and draw them in, and then... Well, I don't know what that and then's gonna be just yet, but believe me, there'll be an and then.
That's Fred?
This is Fred.
Oh, look at Fred.
So this is Fred, a bloodshot bastard. When you buy a suit with two pair of pants, you don't wear both pair at the same time, Fred.
Don't Joe, you'll hurt his feelings.
Come on, Fred. Fred, come on, baby. Oh.
Mr. Bedloe, we got the telegram. But what brings you and Fred to the Shady Rest?
Would you believe it if I said I came to bank the fires of brotherhood?
No.
You don't understand me, Mrs. Bradley. I'm a changed man. I have no reason to lie.
Then that must mean that temporarily you ran out of reason.
How is that nice, Mrs. Bradley? I came in a spirit of friendship in the role of a humane citizen caring for a tired old dog.
Girls, would you turn down the beds for our humane guest, Mr. Bedloe, and watch him like a hawk?
Bye, Fred.
Oh, you got me wrong this time, Mrs. Bradley. I'm not the Bedloe you used to know, that surreptitious, miserable man of old who thought of this lovely retreat as a Victorian egg crate, or referred to that magnificent Hooterville Cannonball as a despicable piece of shrapnel on wheels. No, I'm a changed man.
Now, back up, Bedloe. That ain't like you.
The explanation is simple, but honest. When I was introduced to Fred here, his master, as president of our company, this dog, this noble creature crept into my heart and changed my life. Fred, old pal, come on. Action, old boy. Come on now. Come on, Fred. Come on, old boy. Come on, Fred. That's it. Off we go. Here we go, boy. All the way up the stairs. Up the stairs. Yes, you're happy. Well, I'm not, and I won't be until I find a way to destroy everything. Oh, stop wagging that stupid tail. Wait a minute. That's it. If I can bring you back in worse shape than you came, the president will cease being a patron of this backwater stop. and I can regain my full status. If Kate Bradley and her clan can't cheer you up, if they goof, oh, my lumpy friend, you've given me the greatest scheme I've had in a long, long time.
Poor guy. I think I hear him talking to the dog up there all alone.
He was talking all alone when he was down here.
Now, Kate, old Homer's a nice guy. He's a changed man. Let him up.
Somebody's got to be down before you let him up.
Now, there you go, Kate. You got good points, but you're a mighty poor judge of character.
I beg to differ. I think that Mr. Bedloe is mean and tricky, and you are an old softy.
Kate Bradley, that's the meanest thing you ever said to me in my life.
Oh, Mr. Bedloe, are the rooms all right?
Wonderful. Everything's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Are you and Fred hungry?
Certainly are.
Well, I'll fix something for both of you right away.
Oh, any old time for me, Mrs. Bradley. But feed good old Fred here. Best in the house, please.
Certainly, Mr. Bedloe.
And if he gives you any trouble, boot him out. Use a broom on him. Remember, you must love a dog and feed a dog, but never let a dog get the upper hand. You know?
I'll try not to. There's something going on. I look at Mr. Bedloe and then at this dog, and I see a Trojan horse.
He ain't no Trojan horse. It's just a beagle in a bloodhound suit. I feel sorry for him. Even his droops.
Oh, I love Fred. But a smiling, happy Mr. Bedloe, that worries me.
Kate, ain't you ever heard the expression, if a leopard wants to change his spots, let him?
The expression goes like this: a leopard doesn't change his spots.
I knew it was something like that.
This sounds like the bark of a happy dog. That's disgusting, revolting. Make your move, Homer, old boy. Starting now.
There, that's a lot neater.
Look at him dig in.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Bradley. I just remembered that dog's on a strict diet. Pills for his ulcer, pills for his arteries, and pills for his nerves. And powdered dog food, which I will give him.
See what I mean?
I still say he ain't no Trojan horse, just a basket full of pills. You old rascal. You're feeling your oats around here, ain't you?
All right, Fred, back to your room.
Oh, it's all right. He's taking to playing games with me. He likes me and my Indian. As a matter of fact, he likes all of us. We like him, too. He's the best paying guest we've had.
Don't you see what's happened? He's become a barker.
Is that bad? I've never known a dog was much of a talker.
I bet it's bad. Now, I didn't want to say this to Mrs. Bradley, as I didn't want to worry her. But I feel I can tell you.
Sure. You can tell me anything. And you're right. Kate is a warrior.
The president of the railroad paid a lot of money to have that dog trained, and he's run wild up here. Do you know what the president would do if I brought back an undisciplined barker?
No. I know a lot about dogs, but I ain't had much truck with presidents lately.
Well, this one's got a mean temper. He'd scrap the Cannonball for sure.
Why would he want to do that?
Why? Because you people have turned his dog into a barker.
Yeah, I guess we did. Well, we're sorry.
Well, being sorry won't be enough for the president. There must be something you can do to return Fred to his old dignified self. You know, I'd hate to see you and Mrs. Bradley and those 3 lovely girls in the poorhouse.
So would I. If it's only a matter of stopping Fred from barking, I can do that.
Good. And remember, my friend, the poorhouse might be bad, but you also have to climb over a hill to get to it.
Thanks, Homer. I'll keep that in mind.
Good, very good, and wise, too.
Hey, you know, I cured a dog from a barking fit once, but just scaring him a little.
Would you think you might perform that glorious service for old Fred?
Well, I can try it. You go up the stairs away, and when I start dusting the Indian, let him go.
I salute you, sir. You are a man among men. I've yet to meet your equal. Come along, noble beast. I really think you did it.
Of course I did. Never failed.
I thought I heard a strange bark.
What's so strange about it? That was me.
Uncle Joe, he's been hiding in this room ever since you barked at him.
How did I know he was going to take it personal?
He won't even bark for my stew. Uncle Joe, you broke his spirit.
Bedloe didn't want him to bark.
I said discipline him, not ruin him. Tomorrow I'm taking that dog home, away from this bedlam. And when the president of the CNFW finds out what you people...
Oh, so that's your plan to scrap the cannonball.
That's right. I made a bit of mousetrap and caught all of you in it.
You'd ruin a dog just to ruin us.
You stated so simply, Mrs. Bradley. Beautiful, isn't it? Victory clutched from the jaws of defeat. Beautiful. Fred, you're beautiful. Life is beautiful. I gotta go next door and pack.
Well, what do you think of good old Homer now?
I think he's the south end of a Trojan horse going north.
Well, I'm not as worried about the president as I am about poor Fred. Before he goes back, we just gotta make him feel better. He looks so sad and forlorn, Uncle Joe. Do you think we'll ever be able to make him bark again, Uncle Joe?
Aren't we lucky to have an expert on dog psychology, Uncle Joe?
Why'd I let myself get suckered in by that Bedloe? I am too smart for that.
You said that, I did.
We tried to sneak him out to bark at rabbit trails, but he just looked at us. I don't think he'll ever bark again.
I know I won't. I've just about worn all the paint off my Indian, dusting him. He won't even come near me.
Girls, let's take a walk.
Good morning, girls.
Good morning. Good morning.
We didn't try that.
Try what?
Well, you know about old dogs. A pretty charmer makes them feel like pups again.
What are you getting at, Kate?
Before the cannonball comes back to pick up Mr. Bedloe and Fred, we gotta round up every girl dog we can find.
Fred Ziffel, the pig farmer's got one. Looks more like a pig than a dog.
I'll get it. Girls, wait, we got work to do. Where's Mr. Bedloe?
He's upstairs. He'll be right down.
All right, start the parade.
Look, Fred. Look what we brought for you. Aren't they sweet? Here, Fred. Look at this one. Isn't she pretty? Look, Fred, the Richard Bardot of the dog world.
Hold on, wait a minute. Now stop all this nonsense immediately. Oh, I get it. You're baiting Fred to bark with all these canine cuties, but that's unfair.
Next. Well, this is the last of the batch, Fred. Bark a little. Bark.
I got a secret weapon. I'll be right back.
Thank you, one and all, for giving me living proof that you've killed Fred's spirit.
Well, I tried.
No doubt about it, Fred. You are a beat bastard.
Bedlam, bedlam, bedlam. You people deserve to have this place shut down. You know why? Because you've got no perspective, no sense of values, no appreciation of money. You'd rather cater to a canine and worry where your next dollar's coming from.
You're right.
You're sick. Come on, Fred.
Don't drag him. I'll carry him down for you. Poor feller, he looks like he's about on his last legs.
Well, thanks to you. Wait till I show him to the president. The melting down of the Cannonball will be a monument to Fred.
It's Orville.
This'll be the end of that hot rod handcar, too. Come along, my depressed friend, and we'll get aboard.
Goodbye, Fred. Goodbye, Fred.
Goodbye, Shady Rest.
Hey, what's going on?
He looks so sad. I don't think Fred wants to live anymore.
He doesn't? Why not?
I barked at him, that's why. You want to make something out of it?
Barked at him?
Oh, Uncle Joe, stop blaming yourself. We did all we could to pull him out of it.
We couldn't get him interested in anything.
Why didn't you show him Sheba? He was real interested in her.
Sheba?
Fred's interested in that mutt? She's pathetic.
Well, he nearly proposed to her the first time he saw her. It was love at first sight.
Well, why didn't you say so, you dopey kid? Stop the train!
Joe, it's too late.
Granted, she's just a stray and doesn't look like much, but you'd think somebody'd want her.
You don't?
Well, I can't keep her. I took her to Pixley, but I couldn't give her away.
Stop the train!
Uncle Joe, it's too late. But it may not be too late for a long shot.
Shot at Bedloe? That's a good idea. Bedloe's not too far away for that. Give me a gun.
Orville, you are going to take Sheba to the airport in the Flivverball.
I am?
Sheba to the airport, Mom?
Yes. I think the president of the CNFW Railroad deserves a present from all of us at Shady Rest.
You mean that flea-bitten female?
Well, if Fred was bitten and smitten, that's good enough for me.
Mom, I think that's a wonderful idea. What a welcome home for Fred.
Come on, Sheba. Come on, baby. Here we go. Now then, what worries me is, how do you package a dog?
How do you package a dog? How about using my cat crate?
Yes, come in. Oh, Bedloe, you're back.
With sad, sad news, sir. Look at what those people have done to poor Fred.
What did they do?
Well, Fred hasn't eaten, he hasn't played, he hasn't barked in days. Where did you get that morale builder?
Oh, she's a present from Kate Bradley and the folks at the Shady Rest. Now, you were saying?
Well,
Oh, before you start composing your lie, I think maybe you'd better walk Fred and his country cousin down to the nearest meat market and buy them each a steak.
But the nearest market's 2 miles away.
Yes, it is quite a walk, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Well, maybe you better get them 2 steaks. Now, you get going, Bedloe, and take care of the dogs. You know, I'm disappointed in you. You came back in a foul humor, and a foul humor is contagious. It might depress the dogs. So you watch it.
But...
Don't butt me. Be happy.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that nice of Mr. Curtis to send me a telegram saying that everything worked out fine?
Wouldn't it nice of me letting you open it first?
Bye, Mom. Uncle Joe.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
What lovely daughters. What a beautiful sound. Summer smoke, bees buzzing, honeysuckle. How lucky we are. I have cinder in my eye. Of course, it gets hot, but I don't even mind dog days as long as they're at Shady Rest. How about you, Uncle Joe? Uncle Joe?
Peoticoat Junction.
This has been a Filmways presentation.
Come ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction. Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
It is run by Kate. Come and be her guest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
And that's Uncle Joe. He's a moving kind of slow at the junction. Peoticoat Junction.
Occupant Shady Rest Hotel. Occupant Shady Rest Hotel. Occupant Shady Rest Hotel. I wish the Shady Rest had as many occupants as it has mail for them. But then I guess it's just as well we don't have too many guests with the girls going on their trip and all.
Bring on the customers, Kate. We can use the money. Besides, you got me and Orville to take care of any work that comes up.
You mean the way you're doing it right now when you should be cleaning up the rooms upstairs?
Yeah, let's clean out those rooms, Mr. Carson.
Your move.
H.J. Grant. I don't know any H.J. Grant. Oh, sure. Herbie Grant.
Who's Herbie Grant, Mom?
Boy I went to school with. Let's see here. Inasmuch as most of my financial interests are centered in Europe, I have spent the intervening years on the continent. However, business negotiations require me to be in Hooterville, and I'm looking forward to reminiscing with you.
Expensive stationery. That guy's a phony.
You don't even know the man.
Kate, you only buy expensive stationery like this when you're about to go bankrupt. Guy's a phony.
Who is he, Mom?
Well, he was a senior in high school when I was a freshman. Oh, I had such a crush on him. I used to take the long way to algebra just so I could pass him in the hall.
Gee, I wish we hadn't picked this time to visit Aunt Winifred in Groverdale. Yeah, we're gonna miss all the fun.
Well, I'm not if I can help it.
Maybe we ought to postpone our trip.
No, you don't. You picked the time to go see Aunt Winnie. I didn't. And you're not going to disappoint that sweet, lonely woman.
But, Mom, we could stay here and we could help you and we could...
Oh, come on, girls. Get going.
Bye, Mom. Bye, Uncle Joe. Bye, Mom. Bye, Mom. Bye, Uncle Joe. Bye, Orville. We will.
Bye, there, Joe.
Okay, bye, Orville. We'll miss you. Don't work too hard.
Give me a kiss for me.
We will. Bye. Take care, you hear? Okay. Bye-bye.
Gee, Mr. Carson, I have no place to move.
Sure you have. You can jump me right there, Orville.
Oh, yeah, thanks. What'd you do that to me for, Mr. Carson?
That's one of life's lessons, son. Never be too quick to trust anybody. Not even the most honest guy alive. Me.
Hi, Georgette. This is Mr. Grant. How are things in France?
Oh, Monsieur Grant, we were so worried. We had not heard from you for 24 hours. Where are you?
Hooterville. I'm going to be here for a week. I don't want to be disturbed.
Oh, well, Monsieur Grant, Madagascar wants to know if they can go ahead with the dam. Buenos Aires would like a $5 million loan. Anderson called from Nairobi. They discovered oil in your diamond mine. Should they go on digging? And Ethiopia wants to know about the pipeline.
All right. Yes on 1 and 3. No on 2 and 4. Anything else? Okay. So long. Hi there. I'm Herb Grant.
Parsons, my name. The house dick at the Shady Rest Hotel.
Oh? Oh, things haven't changed much around here, have they?
Crime prevention-wise, they have. We're plugged right into the FBI, CIA, Scotland Yard. We get bulletins on card sharks, con men, everybody. Maybe you better get back on the train.
The hotel's this way, isn't it?
Oh, yes, sir. I'll take your bag for you.
No, thanks. I'll carry it.
Just like I figured, he's a phony. Carrying his own bags to avoid paying a tip, which he can't afford.
Dress is pretty good.
Remember, you can rent anything.
Yeah, but suppose he really is a millionaire.
Millionaire? Where's his spats, his top hat, his diamond stick pin? He's a millionaire, he's out of uniform.
He looks sort of refined to me.
Forget it. Them city haircuts will fool you every time. Come on, we better keep an eye on him.
Herbie?
Kate?
I mean, H.G.? Rather, Mr. Grant.
It's still Herbie to you.
It's still Kate to you, Herbie. Well, you sure look, nice, I guess.
And you look nice too, Kate, and I'm not guessing.
Well, thank you. Welcome home.
Thanks, Kate. It's nice to be home.
Home. That's one word he can start eliminating from his vocabulary. Starting with the next train out of here. I'll nail him. Watch this. Grant?
Oh, hi there.
Mr. Grant?
After you get arrested, how about a little poker? You don't mind playing with a fella that don't know an ace from a deuce?
Thanks, but I never played cards in my life.
Well, how about a little crap shooting out behind the barn?
No, I never gamble on games of chance.
You don't, huh? Well, I'll try to think up something you'll find entertaining.
Thanks, but I'm getting along fine. You know, a fella could do a lot worse than settling down right here.
I got it now. His gimmick's gigoloing. He'll take Kate for every last desperate cent she's got, then break her heart.
Yeah, but I thought Mrs. Bradley didn't have much money.
You got a point there. Maybe gigolos are having a desperate year, too. Besides, I think this guy's on how much this hotel's worth.
Well, how much is it worth?
I haven't the least idea.
You know, I feel very proud knowing that a fella from Hooterville has done as well as you've done. Tell me, did you ever get married?
No, Kate, I never got married.
Never got married.
Please, you make it sound like a capital crime.
Well, I don't mean to. It's just that it seems strange that in your travels that you didn't meet some girls.
Oh, I met girls, but after you move around from one place to another, why, you certainly meet girls. The trouble is, Kate, they're girls, not women. I think that's why I had to come back, Kate, to recapture something. I think the time has come for us to get better acquainted.
Sounds like a nice idea, Herbie.
This ain't no penny ante crook. Mark my words, this guy's after Kate, the hotel, and everything. I gotta get rid of him and fast. Good thick coat of paint would cover up a multitude of sins, as they say. It's like Kate, bless her heart, loading on all that makeup every morning.
Oh, she doesn't look like she can wear us any.
Now, don't get me wrong. Kate's a fine little woman, bless her heart. She needs some dental work. It'd probably stand to have her appendix removed if she could afford it. But she'll marry some sucker or some fellow one of these days and get what she needs, bless her heart.
Uncle Joe, here's some more coffee, bless its heart, for your dear little cup, bless its heart. Now, you drink it up while it's good and hot. Bless its heart.
Excuse me.
Uncle Joe, I want you to stop all this nonsense with Herbie, and I especially want you to stop it tonight around supper time.
Why tonight?
Because Herbie asked if we could eat by candlelight. It's his favorite way of enjoying a meal.
I get the picture. Just the two of you, with him moving closer with every mouthful. Forget it. I ain't letting you out of my sight. Things are beginning to look black. That crook in there is getting set to move in for the kill tonight.
Gosh, I guess I'm too young to know a criminal when I see one. But Mr. Grant doesn't look like one to me.
That's what makes him so deadly. But I done a little snooping in his room. Did you ever hear of a millionaire with no monogram on his pajamas?
Gosh, I guess not.
Or a millionaire with a pair of shoes with a hole in the sole?
Golly, no.
Or a millionaire that never seems to have any pocket change?
Boy, I think you got him pegged right at that, Mr. Carson. You're a smart man.
I gotta throw a monkey wrench in this guy's plans before the girls come back and find the hotel gone. And before he breaks Kate's heart to boot.
Oh, come on, Mr. Carson. Tell me what your plan is, huh?
This guy's got more than one angle, so we gotta hit him with more than one plan.
Yeah, well, like what, Mr. Carson? Like what?
Like the plan that's coming along right now. Old man hungry, Mabel snark.
Hi, Joe. Orville.
Hiya, Mabel.
Afternoon, Mabel. You old heartbreaker, you.
Heartbreaker? Now, what is that supposed to mean?
Now, don't kid me, Mabel. Over at the Shady Rest, all you hear is Mabel, that doll, Mabel, that dreamboat, Mabel, that gorgeous hunk of woman.
Who's been saying that? And please tell me it was a man.
It was a man, all right, and what a man.
Well, who is he? Is he single or anything?
He's single and everything. Handsome, debonair, gay, man about town.
Well, who, for heaven's sakes, who is this loving doll?
Well, he's a feller staying at the Shady Rest.
Well, what's his name?
Well, for the time being, we'll just call him Mr. X.
Well, why hasn't he looked me up before? I'm not hard to reach in Hooterville. Believe me, I am not hard to reach.
Well, he's a mite shy.
Well, he shouldn't be. Not with me.
Why don't you come on over to Shady Rest and get acquainted?
Well, Joe, how do you think this would hit him?
Right between his baby blue eyes.
Handsome, dashing, debonair, with baby blue eyes? Ooh, that's enough to make a girl flip her lid.
Ain't it the truth? But save your lid flipping until you meet him in person at the Shady Rest tonight.
I'll be there. Baby blue eyes.
Excuse me, Mr. Carson, but do you think she's competition for Mrs. Bradley?
Not competition, boy. Confusion.
What are you up to now, Mr. Carson?
Plan number 2, Orville, my boy. Insurance. You got change for 5?
Heck no.
Let me have a dime, will you? Don't worry about your dime, Orville. You'll get it back, every penny of it.
I will?
In the form of satisfaction.
Oh, great.
Hello, Sheriff Ragsdale. Carson here. Reporting the whereabouts of a joker I figure's got to be the most wanted con man in the country. Yeah, I'll be at the Shady Rest tonight. Just doing my duty as a public-spirited citizen. Well, naturally, if there's a reward, we'll split it. magazines to burn, Orville.
Hey! Look what I found in one of the magazines.
Yeah.
Mr. Carson, it's a picture of Mr. Grant.
Grant. I knew it. Let's see what he wanted for. H.J. Grant is pictured above under armed escort. I knew he was a crook. I never miss.
Keep reading, Mr. Carson.
Under armed escort as he carried part of his famous diamond collection to its new home in the Grant International Bank vault. Experts place the value of the diamond collection at $10 million. This amount, however, represents only a fraction of Grant's vast fortune.
What do you think of Mr. Grant now, Mr. Carson?
I gotta go show this to Kate so she'll stop worrying about this guy. Hey, Kate, wait till you see this picture of our boy, Herbie Grant.
Our boy?
Kate, it takes a big man to admit he was wrong. I've never been this big a man before.
Well, I guess Herbie's as wealthy as he says he is. Maybe now you'll stop calling him a phony.
Well, I just wanted to make sure my favorite niece wasn't being took in by some fortune hunter.
You know what's in my bank account. There isn't much danger of that.
Well, it's always good to make sure. Now we can relax knowing it's all over but the dull formalities.
What dull formalities?
Well, he's proposing. You accepting.
Oh, whoa, Uncle Joe, back up. I like Herbie Grant very much, but let's not turn a friendly homecoming into a flaming romance.
Kate, after 30 years, you don't think he just happened to be in the neighborhood?
Uncle Joe, would you stop fanning the flames where there's no fire?
Look, Kate, to them tycoons, time is money. And they don't go around squandering neither. Why, I figure Herbie Grant makes so much money that if he dropped a $10 bill, it'd cost him $20 worth of his time to pick it up.
I never want to be that rich. Oh, and speaking of Herbie, he likes his supper on time. So don't you and Orville keep him waiting at the table.
Oh, well, me and Orville's got some more stuff to clean out of the upstairs room. I tell you, we'll just take a sandwich to munch on while we're working. Guess you and Herbie will have to eat together alone. Well, that's how things work out sometimes, Kate.
All right, Uncle Joe. I'm perfectly willing to be swept off my feet, but, please let Herbie handle the broom.
Well, good evening, Herb.
Good evening, Joe.
How are you this evening?
Fine, fine.
Just come over here and sit down, relax. Kate'll have supper ready in a little while.
Well, thanks, but why the sudden change in attitude?
What do you mean?
Oh, come on, Joe. You haven't been overly polite before this?
Oh. Finally caught on to the rib, huh?
What rib?
Well, I do this to strangers all the time. Find out if they got a sense of humor.
Are you sure you don't dislike me?
Dislike you? Well, that's ridiculous. I never met a millionaire I didn't like.
Oh, Herbie, you ready for supper?
Indeed I am. May I take your arm?
As long as I have it with me, why not? Making money's very important to you, isn't it, Herb?
Well, it's the only thing I've learned to do well. I could learn to enjoy other things, like sitting here with you. Kate, I have a great interest in you.
At what percent?
Very good, Kate. Your wit is sharp and to the point. I know we can hit it off together.
Oh, I don't know, Herb. I really don't know.
We will. All it requires is a little patience and understanding on both our parts.
Cannonball's stopping. That means somebody's getting off. I'll go get rid of them. We can't have any noisy customers up here messing things up right now. Evening, Sheriff. What brings you to shade your ass this time? Just remembered what brought you here.
Where's the confidence man you told me about, Joe?
Confidence man? What do you mean?
The one you phoned me about. Or is getting me all the way out here this time of night your idea of some kind of a joke?
Joke? Look, I don't joke with you, Sheriff, not with your temper. I mean, you're my favorite lawman. Why don't you come back in the morning and put the pinch on him? Good night, Sheriff.
Don't be ridiculous, Joe. I'm taking him in tonight.
Wait a minute, Sheriff. Don't go in there. You'll spoil everything.
What's the matter? Is he holding somebody as a hostage? Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Why don't you go and get reinforcements and come back in the morning?
I don't need them. I'll grab this joker by myself.
No, Sheriff. Hold it. Wait, Sheriff. Wait.
Now, where is he, Joe? Who's this rat holding us hostage?
So the fellow said, that's not like me, that's like my sister.
Oh, no. Where'd you get that one?
It's Kate, isn't it, Joe? That's why you ain't making any sense, ain't it, Joe?
Yeah, well,
stand back. I'm going in after him.
No, please, Sheriff. Don't go in there. You don't know what you're doing. Kate's okay, honest. Please, the guy ain't in there.
Then where is he?
Well, that's the last of it. I've cleaned out every room in the place.
There's your man, Sheriff.
This kid?
Hey, what's going on?
All right, fella, the jig's up. Now tell the sheriff your name. What did you say it was? Babyface what?
Babyface? Mr. Carson, I've been shaving for 2 years now.
You're damn right you have. You've been shaving and fleecing and taking the poor, unsuspecting public around here. Now you go along quietly with the sheriff.
Mr. Carson, what are you trying to do to me?
Just a second, Joe. Ain't you one of the Miggs kids?
Yeah, that's me. I'm one of the Miggs kids.
Yeah, that's the name, Miggs. Babyface Miggs. Now take him away, Sheriff, and the quicker and the quieter the better. I don't want to wake up the guests. Well, you done it again, Sheriff. Wrapped up another case. Tell me how the trial comes out. Well, so long, Sheriff. Good luck, Babyface.
Just a minute, Joe.
Yeah, stop calling me Babyface.
I know this kid. Now, I don't know what kind of nonsense you're up to, but I'm going to go in there and talk to Kate and find out.
No, please, Sheriff. Please don't go in there right now. Herbie ought to be getting to the proposing part. You'll spoil everything.
Now what are you talking about?
All my life I've been wanting to marry into money. I may never get another chance.
Are you trying to tell me that Kate's in there with a gentleman friend?
That's right, Sheriff, so please don't disturb him. You know, having dinner by candlelight, romance, money, you understand.
Yeah. All right, Joe, I won't bother him. Come along.
Gee, thanks, Sheriff. Sorry about the little mix-up.
That's perfectly all right. Just one of those things. Come along.
You sure been a good sport, Sheriff.
Thanks. Come along.
Sheriff.
Yes, Joe?
Hey, Sheriff, why do you keep saying, come along?
Because for putting me through all this, I'm going to let you spend this night down in my jail.
Josh.
You're going to jail.
Very funny, Babyface.
Well, let's go, Joe.
No, please, don't put me in the hoosgow, Sheriff. I ain't never been booked before in my life.
No kidding. Well, let's go.
Oh, please. I'd rather die than bring disgrace to my good name, to Kate, to the girls.
Here I am. Evening, Sheriff Orville. Well, Joe, where's that handsome, dashing, debonair man about town?
Well, I'm sorry, Mabel, but it's just another case of me getting mixed up a little.
Oh, sure. So you must be talking about the fella in there having dinner with Kate.
Oh, well, I hate to interrupt Kate, but I'm just dying to see that romantic rascal who thinks I'm just his type. Gangway.
No, wait a minute, Mabel. Wait a minute. Feller in there ain't the one that's crazy about you. Now, you run along home. I'll see that you get to meet him later.
In a pig's eye, I didn't get a $4 hairdo and all done up grand to blow the whole evening. I'm not leaving this place until I meet Mr. X.
Mabel. All right, Mabel. Now, you have to go to know sooner or later who this Mr. X is. It's me.
You? You've got to be kidding. Why, you're old enough to be my father.
Age ain't everything. A fella can be young at heart because a certain person made him that way.
Gee, Joe. Why didn't you ever tell me this before?
Well, I was afraid you just wasn't interested in men. That's why I made up this little game. Draw you out in the open.
Well, gee, Joe, I had no idea. You see, I've always sort of looked on you like an older brother. Well, not really an older brother. More like a big brother.
Well, at least that's some kind of affection. I'll settle for that.
Oh, no, you won't, Josie doll. Now that everything's out in the open, we'll have none of that brother and sister stuff. We're going to get started right and let the whole world know how we feel about each other. Kiss me, you romantic devil, you.
No. Back up, Mabel. Back up. Some other time.
Uncle Joe, what's Mabel, what are you doing here? And Sheriff Ragsdale.
Well, never mind them, Kate. Give us the good news. When's the wedding date?
What wedding date?
Yours and Herbie's.
Herbie and I didn't set any wedding date, and we're not going to.
Is that on the level, Herbie?
Completely. As a matter of fact, we were just talking about what different worlds we live in. And we were joking about what a marriage between the two of us would be like.
You were joking about it, Kate?
Yes, Uncle Joe.
You got a poor sense of humor. It's downright poverty-stricken.
Thank you. More coffee, Herbie?
I'd love to.
Night, folks.
What do you say, dollface? Let's go for a moonlight walk.
Well, I'd love to, Mabel, but the sheriff here has just arrested me. He's taking me into jail immediately.
Oh, forget about it, Joe.
I'll do no such thing.
The sheriff doesn't think it's important, so let's drop the whole thing and let's go for that moonlight walk.
I'm sorry, Mabel. I got it coming. Sheriff, do your duty. Put me in jail. Lock me up.
Good night, Mabel.
Good night.
Good night, Joe. Have fun.
Hey, wait, Sheriff. I'll walk down to the train with you.
Great. Now for that moonlight walk.
Sheriff, come back. I want to pay my debt to society. Come back, Sheriff. Lock me up.
Peoticoat Junction.
This has been a Filmways presentation.
Come ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction. Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
It is run by Kate. Come and be her guest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
And that's Uncle Joe. He's a moving kind of slow at the junction. Peoticoat Junction.
Come on, Floyd. Let's hustle.
Here you are, Kate, the morning mail.
Great, boys, great. Congratulations.
didn't think
Isn't
you'd
that
ever do it.
wonderful?
Hold it, everybody. We didn't make it, Floyd. It's 12:02.
Don't take it so hard, boys.
But, Kate, it's the first time in 20 years that it appeared like we was going to get the morning mail here in the morning.
You'll make it one of these times.
Hot diggity, that sure would be a red letter day, wouldn't it, Charlie?
I hope to tell you it would.
Now, Floyd, could I look at the morning mail this afternoon before it gets to be evening?
Oh, sure, here you are. One postcard addressed to you.
Mr. Bedloe.
Don't tell me we're going to have to put up with that rat Bedloe again.
Well, he'll have another scheme for closing down the Cannonball for sure.
Says he's bringing his son with him. Wonder what Mr. Bedloe's son is like.
Junior!
Yes, Dad.
Stop dilly-dallying in that stupid station. You might inadvertently strike up an acquaintance with one of those stupid country hicks.
Well, as a matter of fact, one of the natives, a friendly little old lady, did smile and try to say hello to me just a moment ago.
Really? What did you do?
I glared at her until her face turned crimson red and she was humiliated into turning away from me.
Goodbye. Isn't that typical? A stupid Hooterville Cannonball is already several hours late arriving at this stupid station.
Well, wasn't that the sound of its stupid whistle, Dad?
Yes, it was. And a more unpleasant sound I've yet to hear.
You hate that train worse than anything in this world, don't you, Dad?
I detest it.
Even more than Mother?
Yes, even more than your mother.
Boy, I'd hate to be that train.
Smart boy. Come on, son. Let's climb aboard. Get out to that place I've been telling you about.
The Shady Rest Hotel?
Right.
That Victorian mass of potential kindling wood.
Right.
That remotely located eyesore which defaces the scenery along the right-of-way of your railroad.
Right.
That antiquated two-bit hostelry which houses Kate Bradley and her brood, otherwise known as the Enemy. That ridiculous batten board.
Now, hold it, son. Hold it. Save some of that pernicious eloquence for a time you can use it on a defeated foe.
Right you are, Dad, as usual.
Smart boy. What do you think of the country around here, son?
It's very pretty.
Look again.
A quick glance and it looks pretty, but when you give it a good look, it's nothing.
Don't you ever forget it. See in life, my boy, not what's there, but what you want to see.
Dad, you are the greatest.
Thank you, son.
You're probably the most ruthless man since Ivan the Terrible.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far, but I'm always in there pitching.
I bet you are, and I can't wait to see you tear into this Kate Bradley and the other rubes around here.
Now, hold on, son, hold on. That isn't the way I operate.
What? Oh, now look, Dad, you said I'd see you in action, that you'd chop up these people once and for all. You said you'd bring them to their knees and make them suffer. You promised me this trip was gonna be fun.
It will be, my boy. It will be. Just that you have to learn some of the facts of life first.
Great. It's about time.
No, not that kind. I want you to be a success by putting into practice all those devious and unscrupulous tactics I taught you.
But I've already put some of them into practice, Dad. Remember, I was the most hated boy in my whole college.
Well, that's kid stuff, minor league. Now you're ready to tackle the wonderful world of adults.
I'm so excited I can't wait to start.
Be patient, my boy, and follow my example. In life, do anything to win. Plead, crawl, try, or lie, but don't actually ever cheat anybody. That is, unless you're sure you can get away with it.
I know what you mean, Dad. Even in the game of golf, I'd rather play with a sore loser than a good winner any day.
Save yourself years of trouble and don't waste time being a nice guy. Start out mean. It's a big shortcut.
Oh, Dad, that's great advice. What's your plan of attack, Dad?
The new Homer Bedloe. Oh, not the old, mean railroad executive, but Homer Bedloe, the loving father and friend. That'll get her.
Beautiful, Dad, beautiful.
Thank you, son. I've given this scheme a lot of thought, and I'm rather proud of it. I'm going to hit Kate Bradley with so many paternal platitudes she thinks she met the father of the year.
Dad.
What is it, son?
May I say that I'm proud to be your son?
Sure, son. Say it. Go ahead, say it.
I am, sir. I'm proud.
Oh, you're a chip off the old block, my boy. You're all right, son. You're all right. Here we are, son, at the Shady Rest, the magnolia-scented stronghold of the enemy.
Go get him, Dad.
I will, I promise you, son. I'll soften them up, and then you can have a little fun yourself.
Oh, great, Dad. You're all heart.
Heart? Oh, that's a good one. That's a gem. That's a genuine witticism, my boy.
Mr. Bedloe's arrived. He and his son are coming up the hill.
That only means one thing, double trouble in two pair of pants.
Don't worry, Kate. I've handled Bedloe before, and I can do it again. His bringing his son along just gives me a bigger challenge.
Thanks, champ.
Don't mention it, Kate. That's what I'm here for, is to look after you and the girls.
Mom, did you say Mr. Bedloe's on his way up the hill? And his son. Oh, is he cute?
Oh. Well, he looks like he's about 24 in the college type.
Well, looks like maybe having Mr. Bedloe here this time could present an entirely different...
I said he looks like the college type. Also, he looks just like his father.
You can't be serious.
Sorry, chum, but that's the hair-raising truth. Bedloe's son is a genuine juvenile duplication of his hawk-faced, grumpy, mean old father.
Is that a fact? I'll go along with everything you say about me, young lady. But I don't think it applies to my son here. Most people say he favors his mother. Bless her dear, sweet, and gentle heart.
Gee, Mr. Bedlow, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were standing there.
Obviously. Now, Mrs. Bradley and Mr. Carson, and you, young Bradley sisters, allow me to present my son, Homer Bedlow, Jr.
Oh, Homer.
Oh, it's good to be back. It's been a long time.
Not long enough for us, Bedlow.
That's right, Uncle Joe.
But I don't blame you folks. But please, not in front of my son. He's extremely sensitive.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. We got nothing against your son, Mr. Bedlow.
That's right. No hard feelings, son.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Your what? Mr. Bedlow, your son may have a heart, but if you have one, we haven't seen it yet.
I had that coming, Mrs. Bradley. That and much more. My past performance in your lovely community obviates the necessity for any politeness on your part. Aim your bitterest insults at me. I stand before you, ready to accept them in deserved and naked humiliation.
Careful, Bedlow. This is a decent and respectable hotel.
Well, that's only a figure of speech, Mr. Carson.
Mr. Bedlow, are you saying that you're through trying to scrap the Cannonball and shut down this hotel, and that you're a changed man who wants to repent for what he's done?
Yes, ma'am, that's exactly what I'm trying to say.
I don't believe a cotton-picking word of it.
You can't talk to a Bedlow that way.
No, hold on, son. Set family pride and filial devotion aside, I have to be honest with you. In my past visits to this Victorian tabernacle of friendly seclusion, I've been a bit of a stinker.
No, Dad, not you. I can't believe it. Why? Why, Dad? Why?
Vengeance, my boy, anger, frustration, and humiliation. That's why those feelings known only to the vanquished have lodged themselves in my throat like a massive inflammation, and I had to return here to spit them all out.
Not in this lobby, you don't, Bedlow. Don't you forget it.
Joe, Mr. Bedlow's not going to do what you think.
You're dang right he ain't, not as long as I'm here. Else he'll get thrown out the front door.
Mrs. Bradley, I stand before you not as the pragmatic vice president of the CNFW Railroad, but as a parent just like yourself, trying to do what is right for his offspring.
Mr. Bedlow, for the first time, we see eye to eye about something.
Oh, Mrs. Bradley, Jr. has spent most of his life with me, and I brought him down here in the hope that he might fall under the warm and soft influence of you and your charming daughters. It's time he was exposed to the opposite sex.
That does it, Bedlow. Out you go.
Joe, control yourself.
What's the matter with you, Kate? He's the one that ought to learn to control himself. I knew you were mean, Bedlow, but I never realized until now that you're vulgar, too.
Joe, please be quiet. You just don't understand Mr. Bedlow's language.
The heck I don't. You ought to be ashamed of yourself in front of women and your own son.
Mr. Bedlow, here are the keys to adjoining rooms. Why don't you and your son go on up and we'll talk about this later?
Thank you, Mrs. Bradley. That's an excellent idea.
Girls, will you show them to their rooms?
Supper will be in about an hour, Mr. Bedlow.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Bradley. That'll just give us time for a bath.
And while you're in there, wash your mouth out with soap, Bedlow. Okay, Kate. This is your hotel. You can run it the way you like. But I'm warning you, if you let people talk like that, the place is going to get a bad name.
Joe, stop saying that. It sounds silly. Mr. Bedlow may be mean, but he's an educated man who knows how to use the language.
Yeah, he sure does. Well, he even used a couple of words that even I don't know.
Very nice. Very nice indeed.
Thank you, Mr. Bedlow.
Well, how's your room, son?
Built. Really built.
Your room's built? What's that mean?
My room? Oh, no, Dad, I had my mind on something else.
Oh, I see. At your age, you find the Bradley girls attractive. Is that it?
They are dolls.
Well, forget it. They're miserable daughters of a miserable woman. That's what they are.
You bet they are. Dolls? Did I say dolls? No, sir. Not when you take a good close look. Dogs is what they are. Genuine, unpedigreed mutts.
Beautifully stated, my boy. Your semantics are sound. They make your old dad proud.
How do you think we're doing with Mrs. Bradley, Dad?
Well, better than I hoped for. She started lapping up that doting father gimmick like a cat with a saucer of cream.
What next, genius, Dad?
You, my boy, that's what's next. The clincher. I leave and you stay.
Me? What do you mean? Me stay here by myself? What for?
Well, don't you see? With me gone, Kate Bradley and her brood will be thoroughly disarmed.
Well, what can I do here on my own?
Snoop around, get the lay of the land, worm your way into the hearts of these yokels, find their Achilles heel.
Okay, Dad, I'll give it the old college try.
With your reputation as the meanest Yale graduate in human memory, it's good enough for me.
Dad, you inspire me with confidence. You make me feel like I'm even more than a son to you.
My boy, if a father can't inspire his own flesh and blood with a sense of purpose and dedication, I ask you, what good is he?
Nothing, Dad. A big, fat nothing. And you are the greatest. An absolute genius.
Ah, knock it off, boy. I'm not a genius. Brilliant, perhaps, but not yet a genius.
You know, I always figured Mr. Bedloe was too mean to have a son.
Oh, Bedloe's a changed man. I reckon spending so much time here with decent folks has finally rubbed off on him.
Yeah, maybe so.
Now all we gotta do is straighten out that cussing problem of his, and he'll be perfect.
So, my dear friends, I bid you all a fond farewell until we meet again. Bless you, goodbye, and buena suerte.
There he goes, cussing again.
Oh, Joe, buena suerte means good luck in Spanish.
Is Bedloe Spanish?
No, I don't think so.
Need I say more?
Things won't be the same without you, Dad.
You're doing fine, my boy. You've trained for this for months. It's time you spread your wings and swoop down on a few pigeons.
I'm a little scared.
Well, that's only natural. The first time I outsmarted and crushed an opponent, I felt the same way. When it was all over, I had tears in my eyes.
From crying? Not you, Dad.
From laughing, and of course not me.
Oh, that's good. I'm relieved.
Now I'll be so happy back at the office, knowing that you're here, plotting to destroy this train and the Bradley clan every waking moment.
Dad, even when I sleep, I dream mean.
That's my boy.
So long, Dad.
Goodbye, son. And remember the Bedloe creed, humanum est errare semper paratus.
Right. To err is human, so always take advantage of it. Bye, Dad. Bye-bye, Dad.
My dad is leaving.
And the Cannonball carries about everything from newborn babies to hot lunches for salesmen. I guess at one time or another, Charlie and Floyd's turned that train into just about everything under the sun.
Sort of a traveling restaurant, hospital, and come what may without a license, you might say.
Yeah, the folks around here don't care much for red tape, or them legal technicalities.
Is that a fact? Interesting, Mr. Carson. Extremely interesting.
Yeah, I guess it is if you say so, Junior. I still don't think writing a book about things around here is going to make you any money.
Well, there's more to life than money, Mr. Carson. There's the gratification one feels when one accomplishes something important. I'd call it a feeling of cerebral passion.
You're going to have to cut that kind of talk out, son.
What kind of talk? What do you mean?
You've been hanging around with that old man of yours too long, my boy.
Yes, but...
Now, you take my advice and forget about that kind of language. There ain't a publisher in the country that'll put any of them words in print, believe me.
Really, Mr. Carson, there's nothing wrong with...
Now, don't try to sell me on your city ways. If you're going to put things like that in writing, put them down so decent people can read them. You know, as a new writer starting on his first book, you're pathetic.
And you say that you haven't had a visit from anyone with the ICC that you can remember?
Well, not that we can recall, right, Floyd?
That's right. Matter of fact, I can't even recall what ICC means.
Those initials stand for Interstate Commerce Commission. That's the federal agency which controls the licensing of commercial vehicles.
Is that a fact?
Boy, you two are incredibly naive.
How's that, son?
What I mean to say is that you're incredibly neat and precise.
way you run this train.
You ought to see how nice our uniforms look when it ain't a fishing day.
You mean you're going to stop this train and go fishing?
Yep. We're almost to Morgan Creek Trestle. We'll be wetting the line in 5 minutes.
Stop a train to go fishing? Why? I don't get it.
Because it's fun.
Fun? You gotta be kidding.
Ain't you never fished, son?
Of course not.
Then you're about to sample one of the great joys of life, Junior. Fishing's good for the soul.
That's funny.
I got a bite. Let him take it, Junior. Don't rush him. Hook him, son. I got him.
Good boy. Bring him aboard.
Whoa.
Hey, I got a fish. How about that? This is fun.
I hope to tell you it is.
What'll I do with him?
Throw him back in.
Well, why should I do that?
So you can come back again with us tomorrow and catch him again.
Hi, Junior. Come on and do the hop with us.
No, thanks. I don't dance.
Oh, come on, Junior. It's fun. Come on, do the hop. It's the greatest.
Oh, look, this is ridiculous. I mean, I know anything about it. This is fun.
Isn't it, though? Morning, Junior.
Morning, Mrs. Bradley.
How you getting along?
Pretty good, thanks. Could I talk to you about something, please?
Well, sure you can. What's on your mind?
It's something you're not going to like to hear. In fact, I think you're going to hate it.
Well, let me decide for myself, huh?
I've been lying to you.
Why, Junior, I'm surprised at you. What lies have you been telling?
So many, I hardly know where to begin. And my dad, he's been lying to you, too.
Well, that doesn't surprise me in the least. He's old and set in his lying ways, but there's hope for you, Junior. Want to tell me about it?
My dad and I came here to destroy that stupid train. I mean the Cannonball. And this hotel and everybody in this stupid valley. Valley. You'll have to excuse me. I'm having quite a struggle telling you about this.
I know you are. But just don't be upset. Everything's going to be fine.
I'm not used to the sickening emotion that's overwhelming me.
What emotion's that?
I think it's called honesty.
Yeah, that can be a tough one to handle, depending on the way you think.
But the point is, Mrs. Bradley, you and your daughters and Uncle Joe and Charlie and Floyd have all been so kind to me, and the stupid part about it is none of you seem to want anything from me at all.
That's right, we don't.
But why? I don't get it. You're all so nice and friendly and kind, and for no darn stupid reason at all.
Do we have to have a reason?
I know. You're all sick. That's it, isn't it? You've got some kind of a community neurosis. That's it, isn't it?
No, it isn't. As a matter of fact, we all feel fine.
You do? Boy, I'm really confused.
Well, why don't you stop trying to understand it and just enjoy it? That's what we all do around here.
That's what I've discovered. You know, a fellow could get used to a life like this.
Well, of course he could. And you're just a fellow.
Thanks, Mrs. Bradley. Thank you very much. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna shoot a wire to my dad and tell him I found the answer to his problem. I'm gonna get him here right away so he can straighten himself out, too.
Hear the young folks singing in the evening by the moonlight. You can hear those banjos ringing. How the old folks.
Hey, maybe my dad's arrived.
I'll see if he's getting off.
Any sign of him?
Yep, he's coming up the hill, lickety-split.
My boy, you did it! I knew you could! Tell him, son. Tell them how we pulled it off. Tell them how you're going to bring them to their knees in front of your father as he enjoys this moment of supreme retribution.
Bedloe, you've been back 10 seconds and you're starting up again. Now, you watch your language, and I ain't kidding.
Okay, son, what's the news? What's your answer for settling this problem once and for all?
By not pretending to be nice anymore.
Naturally. There's no use for pretense now. And the answer?
Honesty, Dad. Plain, simple, undisguised honesty and truth.
Beautiful, son. Absolutely beautiful. We'll hit these yokels with honesty and truth, and then we'll close down the Cannonball in this hotel, and the stupid people of this valley will... What? Did you say what I thought you said?
Yes, sir, I did.
No, it can't be. They've ruined you. That's what they've done.
No, Dad, they've given me a new look at life, an honest one, and I like it.
Oh, stop talking like that. It's disgusting.
Dad, it can happen to you, too.
Will you shut up, you fiends? You brainwashed this poor boy. I'm taking you back to the city right now.
No, sir, I don't want to go.
You're going to have to see a psychiatrist first thing in the morning.
I don't like her. I hate her. I don't ever want to see that woman again.
Well, you're going to go, and that's that.
Goodbye, Mrs. Bradley. Goodbye, Uncle Joe. Goodbye, girls.
Junior. We sure will miss you. We will, Junior. Hurry back, dear.
You bet I will.
Not on your life. Now stop doing that, you fool. You look like a nice guy. It's repulsive.
Poor Junior. He had to have Mr. Bedloe for a father.
I don't think Bedloe will ever let that boy come back here again.
Oh, I wouldn't worry, Uncle Joe. That nice boy will be back, I'm sure of it.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't care if we never see either one of the two of them again. Them's two of the most foul-mouthed men I've ever met in my life.
Peoticoat Junction.
This has been a Filmways presentation.
Come ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction. Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
It is run by Kate. Come and be her guest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
And that's Uncle Joe. He's a moving kind of slow at the junction. Peoticoat Junction.
Uncle Joe, I need your help.
No, I'm busy.
Doing what?
Chasing a pigeon.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Mom. What's with Uncle Joe? I just saw him hightailing around the side of the house.
He's chasing a pigeon.
Huh?
That's what he told me when I asked him to help me.
Chasing a pigeon? Oh, he must be slipping. He usually comes up with a better excuse than that.
Did you tell her about it, Betty Jo?
Tell me about what?
Mary Jane Hastings arrived in Hooterville this morning.
But she isn't supposed to receive the Chamber of Commerce Award until next week. Why'd she come so early?
Oh, she wants to spend some time visiting with her old friends. And guess where she's gonna stay?
Where?
Right here at the Shady Rest.
How do you know she's gonna stay here?
Well, they were just talking about it in Hooterville.
She wants us to pick her up in about an hour and move her out here. Be quite an honor to have the president of Hastings Enterprises for a guest, huh, Kate?
Reckon Mary Jane's the biggest business success Hooterville's ever turned out.
Yeah, but... she was planning on staying in town. Now, what changed her mind?
Well, Uncle Joe ought to know about that. She said something about discussing it with him this morning. Where is he?
Chasing a pigeon.
Oh, come on.
Uncle Joe, I want to talk to you.
Can't you see I'm busy?
Why are you chasing that pigeon?
To catch it.
Why didn't you tell me that Mary Jane Hastings is coming here to stay?
You mean she is? I guess that little talk I gave her about the Shady Rest really did the trick.
She's reserving 3 rooms for the whole week.
3 rooms? How do you like that? I even outdid myself.
One of the extra rooms is for an assistant she brought with her, and the other's to use for an office. She aims to keep in touch with her business while she's here.
From the Shady Rest?
I guess I really impressed her when I described our modern facilities.
Did you happen to describe one of our modern facilities as no telephone?
Well, no.
Well, how do you expect the woman to keep in contact with her business stuck way out here with no telephone?
Well, I'm working on a substitute.
Like what? Mental telepathy? Smoke signals? A homing pigeon? Oh, no!
Why not?
Uncle Joe, your telephone is ringing. Here we are, Mary Jane.
Oh, it's just as I remembered it. And I was so afraid the old charm would be gone.
Why?
Well, Mr. Carson spoke about all the modern facilities you've installed.
Oh, those?
Everything looks exactly as it was.
The calendar's new. It was put out this year.
Excuse me, Mary Jane. I want to fetch my girls. They're dying to see you.
Where do these go?
You know the executive suite's on the 2nd floor.
Just put them on the elevator.
The elevator don't work, Mary Jane. Remember? Decoration.
Oh, yes. Well, look, I better use the phone and tell my office where they can reach me.
Oh, I'm afraid the telephone don't work either.
Another decoration? Tell me, how do you manage your business without a phone?
That ain't no problem for Joe. He don't work either.
If you want to use a phone, you can use Hank Folsom,
Hank Folsom?
our neighbor.
Oh.
He's just 7 miles down the line.
Oh.
Charlie and Floyd can run you over there whenever you want to make a call.
Well, what if I want to make a call and Floyd and Charlie are in Hooterville?
Hank Folsom, call Sam Drucker and he'll send them right out.
Well, how will Hank Folsom know when I want them?
We'll send him a message.
How? By homing pigeon?
It's one of the new facilities I was referring to.
Jane?
These are my girls.
Let's see, this is Bobby Joe.
Hello. Betty Joe.
This is Billy Joe, of
Hello.
course. Oh, well, you certainly have grown. I can remember when the little boys used to chase after you.
Now it's the big boys.
Hi, Billy Joe.
See what I mean?
Phil and Roger, will you take my suitcases upstairs, please? Steve, you're going to have to go back to town. There's no phone here, and you have a lot of phone calls to make.
Check MJ.
Now, wait. I want to go over the Haken contracts first.
Check MJ.
MJ. That stands for Mary Jane, like those big-time executives talk in those Doris Day movies. Oh!
The contracts are in that suitcase.
Roger, I'll need that bag.
Yes, ma'am.
My error. They're in the other one.
Phil, I'll need the bag you have.
Right.
We'll have to go over the Cooper specifications, too.
They are in the other suitcase.
Roger, I'll need that bag after all.
Yes, sir. Ma'am.
Wow, she's terrific. And that Doris Day thinks she's such a big executive.
Yeah.
That bag is heavy.
Tell me, did Mary Jane hire you boys to work for her?
Oh, no, we're just helping out.
Mm-hmm. Then why do you jump when she talks to you?
Oh, well, that's because... I don't know. I guess it's the way she says it.
I won 3 copies of these new clauses.
Check, MJ.
You can take these bags upstairs now, boys.
Check,
MJ.
You think you can get me a cup of coffee, Kate?
Check, MJ.
Yeah, well, how about it, Billy Joe? You going to the dance with me Friday night?
Yeah, Bobby Joe, what do you say?
Well, I hate to disappoint all those other fellows.
Me too.
Great, then you're going with us.
And you girls were worried that nobody would ask you.
Okay, now come on, stop playing games. Is it a double date?
Well, excuse me. May I speak to you girls for a moment?
Why, certainly, Mary Jane.
Sure. Look, there are a lot of old friends that I want to see while I'm here, but I'm on such a tight schedule, I need help. Would you girls be interested in being my social secretary?
Oh, we'd love to.
Billy Joe, what about the dance?
Would you excuse the girls for a little while, please?
What can I do?
How do you like that? First, she's got us lugging her suitcases all over the place, and now she butts in just when we're dating the girls.
Yeah, well, no wonder she's still not married. No guy with any backbone would stand for anything like that.
Like what?
Well, like the way she just treated us.
On Wednesday, I'll have lunch with the people on List A.
Girls who graduate high school.
And on Thursday, I'll have dinner with the people on List B.
Boys you used to date?
Yeah, plus their wives.
Well, that brings us back to List A again.
Well, that's it, girls. I know you'll do a good job.
Thank you.
Not at all.
Oh, boy, I'd sure like to follow in her footsteps.
Yeah, she's great.
Well, how about the dance?
Dance? You should have asked us earlier.
We did, but you wouldn't give us an answer.
Well, a girl's entitled to a little time to make up her mind. And besides, we're Mary Jane's social secretaries now. We're too busy for the dance.
Well, why don't you let us help, and then maybe you won't be so busy.
Oh, no, thank you. But if we think of something, we'll let you know.
For a couple of social secretaries, you're certainly not very social.
You know, I'll bet if we had more experience as executives, we could think of something for Phil and Roger to do.
I guess it takes practice.
I know you girls are very busy, but somebody has to set the table.
Phil! Roger!
What does she think she's doing?
Practicing to be an executive.
Mary Jane is sure a human dynamo.
You got that fella Steve hopping like he's raised up on Mexican jumping beans.
Now, how about the way she's got you two hopping between Hooterville and Hank Folsom's telephone?
We didn't even get any breakfast, and here it is dinner time.
Oh, well, come on inside. I got pea soup, chicken salad, corn fritters, and loads of coffee.
Woo, that sounds good.
That'll keep us going.
Oh, Charlie and Floyd, it's good you're here. You got to go right back to Hooterville.
What for?
Mary Jane's got some business. You got to make some calls.
Mary Jane, they're here.
I was just about to send Hector with a message to fetch you.
Again? Uncle Joe, aren't you ashamed the way you've been working that poor pigeon?
You're flying the wings off of him. I bet he's put in more mileage than John Glenn.
Well, if he's going to work for a big business executive, he's got to hold his end up. Is that right, Hector?
Looks like he's having trouble holding anything up.
Sorry to keep you waiting, but I'm ready now. Let's go.
Now, look at here, Mary Jane.
Yes, Floyd.
Well, Charlie and me just got here.
Oh, your tie is crooked. There. That's better. Now, what were you going to say to me?
Well, let me carry this little suitcase.
What a woman. She knows how to do things.
Yeah. To every man around here.
Sweeping the lobby.
So I see. But that happens to be Bobby Joe's job.
Well, she told me to do it. She's kind of busy in there.
Oh?
I think we should put these names in alphabetical order.
Check, BJB. I'll work on the B list.
Check, BJB.
Now, where's the B list?
BJB has it.
Huh?
Betty Joe.
Oh, BJB.
Hi. Phil.
What is it?
Run upstairs and get the B list from Betty Joe.
Now, wait a minute. You made me wash the dishes, clean the silver, and now I'm doing the pots. How much more am I supposed to do?
There now. What were you saying?
It's the 4th time today you straightened my tie.
Well, Phil, if you want me to have time to go to the dance with you.
All right. All right. As soon as I finish the pots.
I still don't see why you're so upset.
Haven't you noticed the girl since Mary Jane came here?
Not exactly. I've been too busy keeping the communication system working. What's the matter, Hector? Can't you catch him today?
Uncle Joe, I'm trying to tell you how the girls have been behaving.
How?
Roger, let's get with it.
That's how.
Oh, that.
And that.
We're executives, that's what them girls are. Carson blood's beginning to show through.
Well, it's time to apply a tourniquet. I don't like what's happening to them.
Why not? This might be the start of a great business career. Look at Mary Jane.
That's just what I'm looking at.
Why, with their natural ability and my coaching, the girls might turn the Shady Rest into a national string of hotels. North, south, east. Kate, you should have had another girl.
Bill, Roger,
3's enough.
the invitations to the luncheon are ready. You've got to take them into Hooterville.
But the train isn't here.
Uncle Joe, we need the Cannonball. Send Hector out with a message.
Wait till I get through refueling him.
We can't wait. He's got to go right out.
Okay.
When you send the message, make sure and tell Floyd and Charlie to hurry. You two come upstairs. I'll give you the invitations. Oh, Phil, check with me before you go into Hooterville because I have some additional instructions.
Yes, BJ.
And Roger, when you come down, be sure to bring the B list with you.
Yes, BJ.
Wow. I thought Mary Jane was one of a kind, but looks like you breed 'em that way out here.
My girls were perfectly fine till a few days ago. They've just been exposed to a bad example.
Now, don't you be too hard on Mary Jane. She has a lot of wonderful qualities.
I was thinking mostly of you.
Me? What have I done?
Everything that Mary Jane tells you to in double time. Seeing you scramble every time Mary Jane snaps her fingers is what's given my girls big notions.
Oh, that.
Answer me a question, Steve. You're an intelligent man. You could always get a good job. How come you don't stand up to that woman?
Answer me a question, Miss Bradley. What's a fella do when he's in love with his boss?
Ooh. Have you told her that?
When would I get a chance?
Well, if you want her to be in love with you, you're going about it in the worst possible way.
What do you mean?
Well, no woman can love a man who's always on his knees unless he happens to be proposing. You got to make her have some respect for you.
Oh, she's a little too big to spank.
Why don't you try cutting her down to size? When she barks at you, bark back at her.
No, that wouldn't work with Mary Jane.
Well, that's up to you. I didn't mean to be butting in. The only reason I said so much was because of the girls.
Well, I understand, Miss Bradley, and I'm sorry. Look, why don't you explain to the girls what a big mistake they're making?
The way they feel about Mary Jane right now, they'd be completely indifferent to anything I said. No, that's the worst thing I could do. If you girls go on this way, you'll be making a terrible mistake. And I just got finished doing the worst thing I could do.
Mom, how could you be so old-fashioned? Men like forceful, competent women.
Sure, look at Mary Jane. She's surrounded by men.
They work for her.
That's just it. When a woman's successful, she can be independent. Men need her more than she needs them.
Well, it just shows that a mother's never too old to learn how wrong her children can be. If ever a man stood up to her for a change, you'd see who needs who the most.
But, Mom, you just don't understand what a man...
Hi.
Right. Have a good time in Hooterville?
Well, I spent most of it in a phone booth. I'm afraid I have to leave tomorrow morning, Kate.
Oh, something wrong?
No, it's just business. But, oh,
MJ.
Steve. No, I'm going back to the office tomorrow morning. Some new things have come up on the Hagen contract that need immediate attention.
Well, why don't you let me handle it? I know more about the Hagen contract than you do.
No, I'll feel better if I attend to it myself. Girls, I'm sorry you're going to have to cancel everything.
Well, what about the award that Hooterville was planning to give you?
Steve, you'll have to stay behind and accept it for me. Well, I got to go upstairs. There are a million things to take care of.
Well,
just call me Rover. Ruff. Wait a minute, Mary Jane. I want to have a word with you.
Girls, here's your chance to find out about a woman executive who's too much executive and not enough woman.
What did you want to tell me, Steve? I'm really terribly busy.
You're busier than you think. If you want that award, you're going to have to accept it yourself.
What do you mean?
I mean, I am fed up with being vice president in charge of errands. Every time you snap your fingers, I click my heels. We sound like a pair of castanets, and I don't like the tune we're playing.
Steve, I'm terribly sorry.
You are?
I had no idea you felt this way.
Oh. Maybe I should have told you this a long time ago. Apparently, we never understood each other.
Apparently.
Well, then it's agreed. You will accept the award.
Well, I guess I'll have to. Since you won't be working for me anymore.
What?
Well, I certainly wouldn't want to keep you on a job that's making you unhappy.
Are you firing me?
It looks like we're finally understanding each other.
Well, so much for theory. We better start canceling those invitations.
Phil? Roger?
Well, Miss Bradley, certainly solved that problem. Don't worry about being in love with my boss anymore. All I have to worry about now is finding a new one.
Steve, I'm terribly sorry.
No, we're finished taking orders, and you can forget about the dance.
And I don't need anybody to straighten my tie anymore either. It was never crooked in the first place.
It's a clip-on.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Bradley. We were just saying goodbye to the girls.
Yeah, so I heard. Did I also hear that you're not taking them to the dance? Why?
Well, if you want to know the truth, we don't have any strength for dancing.
Is that really the reason?
Well, if you want to know the honest truth, before I dance with one of those girls, I'd rather dance with
him. And I can't even follow.
Boys, look, you mustn't feel this way. Steve, where are you going?
Upstairs to pack.
What? Just a minute, please. Huh? Now, boys, you wait a minute, too. Steve, you can't give up this way. There's got to be something you can do.
I don't see why you're so worried about me. You're in a worse fix, you know.
What do you mean?
I've only lost to Mary Jane. You've gained 3 of them.
And what you did to Steve was not very nice, Mary Jane.
But that's my affair. Even if you thought I acted in the most outrageous manner, why should you be concerned?
Because my 3 daughters are using you as a model, and how did you know that was what I thought? The way you treated Steve was no way to act towards a man who cares for you.
Who cares for me? Oh, no, he only cares for himself. He is the most arrogant, selfish, cruel man I've ever met.
Hey, Jane, are you trying to tell me you're in love with him?
It's just about time somebody understood me.
Well, if you love him, why did you fire him?
Because he is the most arrogant, selfish...
You're repeating yourself.
It's true. But did you hear the way he spoke to me when I just asked him to accept the award?
You mean when you told him to?
Now, what difference does that
Oh,
make?
it makes a lot of difference to a man who loves you. Yes, he does, Mary Jane. And if you had any sense, you'd catch him before he leaves and tell him you're sorry.
After the way he spoke to me? No, absolutely not.
Sit down, Mary Jane. We're going to have a little talk.
Look, Kate, it doesn't make any difference what you say to me. You know that I would never run after a man, even if I loved him.
Oh, now we're going to have a big talk. Sit down. You leaving?
Just as soon as the Cannonball gets here.
Look, have you girls seen Steve? He's on the porch waiting for the Cannonball. We're
Mary Jane?
She just went out on the front porch. What is this? Follow the leader?
You might call it that. You won't be able to sit down for a week. And if you pay close attention, you're going to see a new leader.
And can you ever forgive me for the way I treated you?
Well, I'll think about it.
It'll all be different from now on.
I won't it, though? I especially like that part about your taking my last name instead of my taking yours.
Oh, darling. No more fussing. Please.
Pretty please.
Check, Zara.
Golly, do you see that? Yeah, and I heard it, too.
And I promise that I'll never give you another order. Except one.
And what's that?
Kiss me. Please.
Gee. That's enough, girls. You got the point.
But they're just getting to the best part.
Into the dining room, BJB. And you, BJB. And you, BJB. That's an order from MOM. Then you're not leaving tomorrow to take care of that business.
Oh, no, Steve will take care of it. In fact, from now on, Steve will take care of everything.
Yeah, especially you, darling.
You're smarter than I thought you were, Steve. Most young fellas marry the boss's daughter. You're marrying the boss.
Listen, from now on, Steve's the boss.
Oh, let's not overdo it, Mary Jane. You know the old saying, you put out your hand to a man.
They put a ring on it.
And no more orders, Bobby Joe?
Oh, I promise.
All right, I'll accept your apology.
And from now on, I'm the boss.
Whatever you say.
You're sure now?
Oh, on my word of honor.
All right, I'll dance with you instead of Roger.
Well, Uncle Joe, looks like the women around here are all through giving orders. Come on, I got a lot of work for you.
Peoticoat Junction. This has been a Filmways presentation.